Welcome to the Global Speaker Advantage, the #1 podcast where your voice goes beyond borders. Hosted by Oliver Shum, international speaker and coach, this show is for speakers ready to grow influence, land paid gigs, and make a global impact. Tune in every Tuesday and Friday weekly for insights, interviews, and strategies to help you thrive on the world stage. Let's go global.
This is the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, where every episode is a masterclass. My name is Oliver Shum, and I am your host. We are on a mission to touch every life in any corner of the world and empower their voices so they can stretch, grow deeper, and become global speakers and make their voices count. Let's go global and make it count, friend. In today's episode, we are talking about episode 38. We are having, and of course, we are so blessed to have one of the best marriage counselors in Africa, West Africa, Cameroon, of course, with us. And we are going to be discussing on faithful marriage, how to build sustainable relationships. Maybe you are here and you are looking forward to get married. Maybe you're already married and you're looking forward to maintain your relationship. How can you get that? What are the hacks? What are the strategies? What are the systems? What is the mindset you need to develop and build to keep yourself going in your relationships? And that is exactly why we brought to you our own very and one and only Amos Mbenben, okay, founder of Dominion Singles and Marriage Academy, who has been doing this for decades upon decades upon decades upon decades. You're welcome, Amos Mbenben.
Thank you very much, Oliver Shum, and thank you for what you've been doing to the world and to the body of Christ in particular. Thank you so much for this program, and I'm delighted to be part of today's program.
Beautiful. Of course, we are so glad to have you, and we have listeners from all around the world: Singapore, United States, Germany, England, South Africa, and of course from Cameroon and all African countries that are listening to this, and thousands are listening every single week. I believe that there was not any other person to handle this topic for today but you, Reverend. And what are some of the things that if somebody is just tuning into this podcast, he or she will be expected to learn? Remember, we're talking about faithful marriage, how to maintain relationships. What are some of the 3 top things that you expect those who will be watching this podcast to learn from our conversation, please?
Well, I think that those who are going to be watching at us, they are going to learn how to engage in relationships. They are going to learn how to develop those relationships, and they are going to learn how to maintain them. And one thing I also want us to take note is that every human being is relational. Even God is relational. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit is a relational. God is relational in internal and also relational external. So in external relationship, he relates with us. Now, that helps us now to understand who we are. We are relationship beings. You can never exempt yourself from relating. In one way or the other, you are relating first with yourself, second with your family members, third with your spouse. You are relating with members of your if you are working place of work, you are relating with them. So anywhere we find ourselves in, we are relating. That is what I know. Yes.
Wow, that's so brilliant, and I love the way we are on packaging the conversation. So,
Yes.
right away, let's begin with how to get yourself engaged in relationship. Now, let's start from those who are still single and
Yes.
who are looking forward to have better halves and spouse and get married. So,
Yes.
what do you have to say to those who are watching us and they are in search of good relationships that they can be able to make up a family with? What are the
I-
three things that every single person listening to us now, Christians, non-Christians, that they need to know in order to have a successful marriage relationship?
well, we are talking about so many things. You know, getting successful in a relationship is not something that you may just wake up and say, "Oh, I want to." No,
Mm,
there are principles you have to take into consideration, and depending also where you are coming from.
mm,
The principles that Christians take is very different from the principles that other persons do take. But
mm,
our audience is a global audience, so we
absolutely.
are going to speak to an entire, to the world. We are not
Yeah.
going to talk only to Christians, but we're going to talk to the world. The first thing that you have to do to prepare yourself for relationship is to ensure that you are relating well with yourself and with your
Mm,
creator.
mm,
If you don't relate well with yourself, it's going to affect the relationship that you have with other people. For instance, if you grow up and you have issues that you've gone through and you've not dealt with those issues, you are a walking problem to happen somewhere. Let me say it again to our audience.
yeah.
Marriage actually do not make you happy.
Mm,
You are happy before you get married.
mm,
So you don't need to say, okay, I'm waiting for someone to actually come and make my life better. No, I
mm,
make my life better while
mm,
I wait for someone. So that is the primary thing you have to do. Work on yourself, discover who you are, so
mm,
that by the time you get another person, the program would basically the relationship would basically be that kind of relationship where is like you're helping me, you
mm,
rather you are there and I'm there. We don't need anything from each other to become successful or to
mm,
live our lives, and that's exactly why we need each other.
mm.
That's exactly why we need each other. Many times you may feel like I've heard people say, "If I don't marry you, I will die." If you leave me, I
Ah,
will die. Nobody is worth dying for. Jesus died for us all. You are not supposed to die for anyone. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to do away with the the challenges you've gone through in life, so
mm,
that by the time you engage in a relationship, is actually going to be better. That's one thing we have to do. Check your life. Check what you went through, and you can now become better as
mm,
you engage with other persons. Another point that I want our audience to also take note is rethink and revisit your culture.
mm,
Yes, marriage is we when we talk about marriage, we define marriage as the coming together of two adults from different nations. That is family. They
mm,
are coming from different nations with different cultures to form a new nation whose culture will actually bless the world and also
mm,
bless those who are married. I know it's a little bit.
mm,
What we are saying is that we don't just get married, but we are coming from somewhere where we've been engineered, our culture engineered us, and we are coming to get married. And we may not have a relationship with the person that also grow from the same culture. So that helps us now to ensure that we develop our knowledge capacity and we revisit our culture where we came out from. For instance, I was listening to someone, and the person was talking about men, and suddenly the person was given an advice to a younger generation, to young people, and suddenly the person said, all men are polygamous in nature, including Oliver Shaw, and including.
Mhm.
So where did she get that idea from?
Mm.
Where did she get it from?
Mm.
Someone definitely thought her, and she
Mm.
saw in her comment that every man is a polygamous in nature, which is not true. So if you want to
Mm.
prepare yourself and to engage yourself and to
Mm.
enter marriage and survive there and do well, you
Mm.
must be able to recreate your world, to recreate your culture. You must sit back with your spouse and you guys say, what we learn from our parents, is it working? If it's working,
Mm.
fine. If it's not working, we create our own
Mm.
based on how we see it. Are we there? There are
Mm.
things that worked from our parents, that our parents were doing. We saw it worked. It cannot work today. So we
Mm.
have to sit back, because marriage is about two persons who are coming from a different background. So if they come in with all their challenges and
Mhm.
they don't meet, okay, they don't create another one, is going to affect them. So
Mm.
watch out, mind who you are, develop yourself, get to know who you are. Who are you? Have you dealt with the past hurts? Number two, get the knowledge that is needed.
Mm.
For you to get the knowledge, you can be able to understand that you need to check the knowledge where what you have, your
Mm.
mindset, check it, check your belief system. Then
Mm.
now, because the belief system you have is what will make your marriage. For instance,
Mm.
somebody gets into marriage and believes that all in-laws are bad. Okay, all in-laws are bad, which means that her own in-law will be bad,
Mhm.
and fight them at every instance. Reality remains that not all in-laws are bad. There are
Mm.
some in-laws that are bad, but there are some that are actually amazing. So you
Mhm.
don't take one thing and then you generalize it even to the whole world. It
Mm.
will not work that way. And then lastly, when you finally find the person that you are going to live with,
Mm.
one thing that you will do is to spend time to know who you are. Spend time to build a solid team that will last. Marriage is a teamwork.
Mhm.
In in a team, there's something I learned from school that that uh big players don't win a match. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's big teams that win a match.
Mm.
So no matter how you play, you can
Mhm.
have a toughest, a big player,
Mhm.
but you will finally end up knowing that you must play with other players so that you
Yep.
can win the Nations Cup, so that you can
Yep.
win the World Cup. So if you
Yep.
go alone, that's how marriage is. No
Mm.
matter how you are sensitive, how you are powerful as a man, you
Mm.
need a woman. So spend time before you finally engage yourself
Mm.
in the marriage. Spend time to know one another. Do
Mm.
what we call self-discovery.
Mm.
That's why you have a courtship period. And courtship period is a time of talking, is a
Mm.
time of discussing, is a
Mm.
time of of trying to get to know one another. You share some basic things and to know the mindset of the person you want to get married. Let me give you an example. A couple got married, and
Mhm.
they discovered that the guy said he cannot have sex all the time. You only have sex once in a month.
Mm.
Which kind of who is that? Who is that lady that can marry a man who has sex once in a month? And
Mm.
then he said, no, that is what he saw his parents doing. So it
Mm.
means that guy has a mindset
Mhm.
that has to be discussed with the lady coming in.
Mhm.
If that is done, you
Yep.
will not be embarrassed during marriage and things like
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
Some people are just enduring marriage because the
Mm.
foundation was not laid.
I love
And then
that.
the foundation was not laid. Let me quote the Bible for Christians. The
Mhm.
Bible says that what? That when the foundation is faulty,
Mhm.
what can the righteous do? Proverbs 11 verse 3 says that.
Mhm.
What can the righteous do? The foundation of a marriage is the same as the foundation of this program that we find ourselves in.
Mm.
Foundations are never seen, but they
Mm.
sustain the house.
Yeah.
A lot of money is taken for
Mhm.
foundation.
Yep.
Just like what I tell a lot of corporals, that the part a foundation plays in their relationship
Mhm.
can never be underestimated. Let one thing they will encourage couples to do is spend time to lay a solid foundation. Presently, marriage counseling is paid. I'm talking about professional marriage counseling is paid.
Mm.
But if you want to do the marriage counseling with your pastor, if your pastor is not um, a trained marriage
Mhm.
counselor, you
Mhm.
don't you, first of all, you don't pay marriage counseling in churches.
Mhm.
But if you want professional counseling, when
Mhm.
you get a professional, Mr. Oliver, you will
Mm.
know that this person is a
Yeah.
professional from the first day you meet him.
Mhm.
Just like the same thing that you are doing. I mean,
Mhm.
when you hear a global speaker speak, you will know that this
Mhm.
person has years of experience. That's what is always happening. So let's not complain and say, okay, I don't have money to go to a marriage school. I don't
Mhm.
have money to attain a marriage course. I don't have money to go for a team building project. Just
Okay.
like this. Yes,
I
yes,
love that, Reverend.
yes,
This is very interesting. What you said about the three things that people need to take into consideration when they are
yes,
getting want to get the relationship is very important. I
yes.
remember back then in 2017 when I was dating my wife, and
Mhm.
most of the time we're living in different cities. Like she was living in Kumbu, BBH. I was living in Baminder, and she
Yes,
comes once in a week. She visits me. We
yes,
have time together. We discover each other, and
yes,
it took us some time to know each other, know our
yes.
families, the strengths and weaknesses, the threats, the opportunities, and
Right.
at the end of the day, we got married. We went through a marriage counselor that walked us through the
Yes,
advantages of disadvantages of us getting married and if we want to go forward. And
yes,
the time within which we had met, like we're meeting once in a month,
yes,
there were temptations, and many people actually fall into these temptations, maybe like having sex before marriage, before their
yes,
marriage day. And
yes,
we are grateful to God that God helped us, to stay away from such temptations. And by the grace of God, we got married, you know,
yes,
void of all of those distractions. Why
yes.
is it important for people who want to get married to stay away from sex until
Okay.
they are finally married? What are the
Absolutely,
advantages that comes to that?
absolutely, very, very beautiful. Is so it's a wonderful question, and every young person is always curious about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have given all excuses, all kinds of excuses that make them to engage in sexual relationship before marriage. You see, number one, sex before marriage is sin. That's the
Mm,
principal reason. It is out of scriptures.
yeah.
Mr. Oliver, sex is in the confine of a man and a woman,
Mm,
and it's supposed to be those who are married.
mm,
It's a gift that God gave to the married. And I can tell
mm,
you,
mm,
beautiful gift.
Mm.
When it is done in the context of marriage,
Mm.
an awesome gift. And if you are married and you jeopardize sex in your marriage, I will encourage you to make sure you learn how to better do it.
Mm.
Now, when you are a young person and a young lady and you engage in sex, number one, as we said, is sin. Number two is that you put yourself in a confused state. It becomes addicted because once you get the test, you get the feeling that comes with sex. If care is not taken, you become addicted and you want to do it and you want to do it. You will do it, and then you are going to ask God for forgiveness. And after tomorrow, you will also do it and comes back. And then at the end of the day, you don't even have faith to yourself because you were not supposed to try another man's gift.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was not yours.
Mm.
So now when you have sex, I'm giving you the third point. When
Mm-hmm.
you have sex before marriage,
Mm-hmm.
there is a lack of trust
Mm-hmm.
that comes into the relationship. For instance, you think that what has happened here will continue to happen. Why did this thing happen out of marriage? Because those who actually have sex before marriage, actually they open themselves to say, okay, if I can be loose before, then I can also be loose within.
Uh-huh.
So sex out of marriage is called fornication. Sex in marriage out of marriage, sex before marriage is called fornication. Sex out of marriage is also called adultery. So adultery and fornication goes hand in hand. So you not hold yourself before marriage, and then you complain that chemicals and are turning through your body and stuff, then it will happen after marriage or when you get married. It's not a guarantee that you have all your sexual fulfillment. That's the challenge that we have.
I love that, Reverend. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's not a challenge. It's not a guarantee that you have all the. No, once you can still marry here, because somebody told me that, oh, when I was married, all my sexual gratifications will come to an end. And the person got married and is still feeling for other people. Wow. So another point that also we need to highlight here, the danger of having sex before marriage, is that just in case there's a breakup, hearts are wounded. Yeah, hearts are really wounded because it's better leaving someone when you haven't had intercourse with. Miss Anshom, let me give a difference, because many times we intercourse and intimacy, they are different things.
Okay.
Yes, you can have intimacy with someone and you haven't had intercourse with that person. Okay, you do not have. Okay, if you see a man or if you see a young person, if a young person kisses, those before marriage, they engage in kissing, they've had intimacy, they've even had sex, but they have not had what? Intercourse. You see the difference? Because that's why we tell young men and women that don't engage yourself in kissing before marriage. And they are like, somebody say they just say you don't know what you're talking about. But you already have those things happening to you, because kissing, we're not talking about peck, we're talking about kissing is already intimacy, it's already sex, you're already committing, because that's the way it is. Now, Oga, somebody said Oga kwata kwata. One of the consequences of sex before marriage is that it sometimes lead to competition. If you finally do not get the same person, don't marry the same person. For instance, if you have sex before marriage with another person, it's going to be a challenge when you there's going to be competition if you finally get married to a person, a different person.
Okay.
Yes. If you get, if someone, a young man wants to marry and engages in sexual intercourse before, or rather, let's take a lady, and finally gets married to another man, let's assume that the man's potency is not as the one that he has tested before. There's really going to be a sad journey in marriage. So most men end up being with people that are not their type romantically because they are tested all that men. So it is very important to engage with one person. If that person is a 2-minute man, is your own. If it's 5-minute man, is your own. If it's somebody that prioritizes non-penetrative sex, is your own. So you understood that you know this person, and then your sexual gratification and desires, the both of you can try to make it. But that does not happen if you have sex with another person and you marry another person. A couple of people, young ladies have come to me and say, sir, what do I do? I have two persons in my life. The first person is highly and heavily romantic.
Yep.
The second person is not romantic but responsible. Let me ask you this question, Oliver and Shom. You are interviewing me. Let me interview you now. Who are you going to choose? A man who is responsible but not romantic, or a romantic person who is not responsible?
Of course, the obvious answer for me is the man who is responsible but not romantic,
Okay, then you will now, according to your answer, you will now say no to romance.
Yeah.
And then you get a response, which is the same thing like I could have answered. I better choose a man who is responsible. And then when you ask this question, most girls will say, I will choose a romantic, responsible man. Because of very wise. Some ladies are very wise. They want to choose it. Okay, but they don't understand that in this marriage stuff, sometimes God don't even give you the two. He just gives you one, and then he manages the other one. The one that you are managing is actually the one that is what makes you to come back to God oftenly. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. When you ask me the question, when I answer your question, I was like, okay, I'll choose the one. Of course, I'll choose the one that is responsible and not romantic. And that's not to say that I'm not romantic, by the way. So you're not romantic.
That's not true.
It's a kind
you
of
are right.
Yeah.
You are right. You are right because you can teach
my wife is watching this, so she knows what I'm talking about.
You can teach a man to be romantic. A man can learn to be romantic in a session with a marriage counselor and therapist.
That's right.
It is difficult to teach a man to be responsible. It takes a higher weight.
Yeah.
Because responsibility is not something that people just become responsible overnight. No, they go through a process to become a good husband, to become a good wife, to be responsible over the children and stuff like that. So I would basically choose somebody who is responsible, and then I would take the person to Dominion Singles and Marriage Academy and we'll learn romance.
That's right. I love that, man. That's pretty interesting. Tell me, the Reverend. For those who are watching this podcast, let us know the country you're watching from, and of course the city you're watching from. Drop your biggest punchline, drop your biggest deep. What is that idea that resonated with you? Drop it there on the comment section. And thank you so much, dear wife Laura, for your comments, and we really appreciate that. Just watching from Facebook. You have been doing this thing, man, for a long time. And by the way, it's such an honor and a privilege for me to have this conversation with you. For those who are speakers watching this podcast and asking questions, what is relationship having to do with public speaking or global speaking or international speaking? I just want to let you know that there is no speaker without a family. It's either he has a family, like a brother or sister or mother or father, or a wife and children. So there's no speaker that fell from the sky and is just an island. So that's why speakers' strength, speakers' repetition, speakers' greatest impact is always felt back on the family. If the worst comes to the worst, who are you going to fall back on? Are you going to fall back on your wife and children? Are you going to fall back on your relatives, your siblings, your parents? Because you can't tell me that as a speaker, you are not having a family and you don't really care about the family. And because family is very important for us speakers, it is important for us to have a stronger foundation, especially at the level of family, because the speaking business is a very unpredictable business, and anything can happen at any time. You can do a talk and you blundered, you miss all your words, your audience drive you away from the stage, and you're leaving the podium and your tears are running down your cheek, and you have no any other place to go than to go home and cry with your family. So that's why you have to make sure that they are in good relationship with you as a speaker.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
exactly why we brought a relationship expert that will actually share with us strategies on how we can be able to build a foundation standing with good relationship with the people that are concerned in our life as speakers. And that's exactly, I wanted to make that introduction so that the speakers watching us from different parts of the world should know why we brought in a relationship expert in a speakers podcast. And so, Reverend, I'm the kind of person that I don't believe in scripts. Like, you don't write your script and you give me to act. I write my own script. So it means that I question everything that I see, and I question every culture.
And that's
now we are talking about people coming into relationship, people in relationship already. It is, to some cultures, it is like a taboo to get married from people in a particular culture, in a particular mindset, in a particular perspective. For instance, getting married, it is obvious for many people, especially from Africa, that the normal rule is to get married for a woman that is younger than you and you're older than her.
Yes.
And some people, they feel like getting married to a woman that is older than you is a taboo, is stupid. It doesn't make sense. And some people are like, getting married to a woman that is even older than you by 10 years, 20 years is secret. And some people see that as witchcraft, so I have to question cultures and all of that and make my right decisions for my research and findings and all of that. Because again, we have very wonderful women out there, irrespective of their ages, but they are really, really the finest women on earth. And most of the time, you need to be able to discern what is the spirit saying. Do you want to take over what the culture is saying, or what God is saying, or what you're hearing, or what the intuition is saying, or whatever? What do you think when it comes to getting married? What do you think as a relationship counselor, making a relationship? What's the age factor? What does it have to do when it comes to relationships?
Someone said age is not a number, it's just a number. Someone said that.
Okay.
But I want us to get to understand, because one of the things that I wouldn't say is whether you should marry a woman who is older than you or not. I'm trying as much as possible not to give you a recommendation. I want you to take decision, because at the end of the day, you are the one who live together. But let's take it in two angles. Why would someone, or with the culture says, a woman should be older than the man? Okay, why do they say that? It came out from a respectable, from the respecting, respect. What am I saying? I'm saying that people realize that when someone is younger than you, that person automatically respects you. But when that person is older than you, she questions why you should be my leader, or why you lead me in the family.
Okay.
So, and then some people actually say the Bible, like Christians always quote the Bible. They say Adam was first made, and then Eve came second. So because of that, they actually quote the Bible. They say automatically, if that's the case, then we have to marry those who we are younger. Again, we cannot say for sure that is the right interpretation of that scripture. Okay. Now, that's how many people see that if I get married to someone who's older than me, as a man, that woman will definitely undermine me. That woman will not give me respect. But that is not true in all cases.
Yeah.
So we are seeing that If you meet a woman, okay, these
Mm.
are all cultures.
Mm.
Some cultures are actually Bible cultures.
Yep.
Now, but I have seen men, I have seen men who are younger
Mm.
age.
Mm.
These guys are doing well
Mm.
with their wives.
Mm.
Okay, I can get to list examples upon examples. We know
Mhm.
that the French president is younger. In fact, we could rather say he got married to somebody equal to the mother's
The
age.
mother's age. That's
Man is
interesting.
doing well. The man is fine. He has never complained.
Mm.
We I mentioned earlier the President Office. He
Mhm.
also, I heard that the wife is actually older than him and he's doing well. I've never heard
Mm.
that he's involved in infidelity. I've never heard
Mm.
that he has a problem with his wife, which
Mm.
means you can definitely do well.
Mhm.
But there are things I advise those who want to venture in getting married. Let me tell you something. Anyway, sometimes you discover that some women who are older are more
Mhm.
loving than the younger ones.
Mm. Mm.
These
Yeah.
guys, why they are getting married, why they are so happy getting married to
Mm.
people, to younger women,
Mm.
to
Older
elderly,
women.
they
Mhm.
will tell you that the love they show to them is something
Mm.
they never had it for the rest of their lives
Mm.
since they were born. So
Mm.
what I say here is that for the young people, for children of God, for believers all over the world, for unbelievers, when you want to marry and you want to marry, somebody, and you see someone who is younger, who is older than you as a man,
Mm.
please, it is not, you shouldn't just go automatic and say this
Mm.
age factor. If you are convinced that the woman is your wife,
Mm.
you are free. Don't allow people's culture
Mm.
demean you and make you lose someone that could
Mm.
have been a blessing to you. But there's
Mhm.
something, Mr. Oliver, that I want to let our audience know. If
Mm.
you find a woman and the woman is attractive and the woman is older than you and you
Mm.
love the woman and you want to marry, there are just few questions I would like you to address to yourself. Number one, are you not going to be threatened by the fact that the woman is older than you?
Mm.
Okay, that's question one. Because
Mm.
many times, whenever that woman does anything, you will just feel like, oh, because of your age, that's why you are doing this to me. You are not respecting me. Because most cases that I've received in my office
Mm.
that had to do with age difference, the younger men always say, he thinks he's my elder sister. When I say anything, he doesn't want to
Mm.
hear me. He doesn't want to hear. So that fear
Mm.
is what you have to address before getting into a relationship. And I've
Mm.
spoken with quite a number of young ladies, and they
Mhm.
say they don't have a problem getting married to a younger brother. They
Mhm.
don't have getting married to somebody who's younger. The
Mm.
only thing is that these persons should have confidence for
Yeah,
themselves
that's right.
and not have this inferiority complex that
Mm.
can come in, and because by the time the lady speaks, you always come from a background of fact that and anytime you speak and you say something and the
Mhm.
ladies want to have an input, you always feel like, oh, why are you talking like this? Because, and then another point, Mr. Oliver, is also for the ladies. I'm telling you this thing
Yeah.
here. For instance, a young man, a young man, you say, man, I say, get there, sit down. Who are you? You feel like this is a boy. you, that's why the lady rises up. This is a boy. You cannot
Mm.
talk about sister.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And stuff like that. That's the point where you as a woman must look. Even though he's
Ah.
a younger brother, definitely
Mhm.
this man, this man is my is my husband, and I don't joke about that, and I
Mm.
respect. Yes. So
I love
so
that.
we are not here to
Yeah.
tell anybody We are not here to tell anybody, can
Yeah.
you marry somebody older than you?
Mhm.
Can you marry somebody younger than you? We respect, particularly, I respect your decisions. Just get
Yeah.
wisdom around it.
Mhm.
And if not, you will lose a good woman.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
the same thing comes with people who married. For
Mhm.
instance, a man is getting married to a woman, and the woman earns 3 times or 4 times better than.
Mhm.
It's just the
Yeah.
same thing. And you begin to see intimidation. You begin to see fight. You begin to see somebody worried. I mean,
Yeah.
if your wife is earning 10 times more than you, beloved brother, you are blessed.
Mhm.
You are really blessed.
Yep.
You are really blessed.
That's right. So, Reverend, thank you
Yes.
so much for that. Personally, I've been married for 8 years, getting to 9 years.
And
My
thank
wife
God
is
for
actually, yeah, my
thank
wife is
God for your
actually
wife.
slightly, yeah,
Yeah,
slightly
thank God
older
for
than
your
me.
wife. Oh,
But my
thank God for
wife, amen,
okay.
my
Yes.
wife is not just a wife; she's a gift from God to me.
Amen.
And
Thank you so
and
much.
God told me that
Yes.
this is that my wife is a special gift that he has given me and he's giving me. And
Yes.
it's so exciting because my wife is not just like her wife, she's like one of my best friends. She's
Yes.
like my partner in what God has called us to do. And
Yes.
she has
Yes.
been so instrumental. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like really
Yes.
instrumental. And she
Yes.
understands me more than any other person can understand me.
Of
And it's
course.
like
Of
she
course.
thinks the way I think and she acts the way I act. We are just like twins. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yes.
she has been a huge blessing in my ministry, in the life, in the projects, and all that I do.
Yes.
And I always ask myself, what in case I miss her? What in case I did not get married to her? You know. So I also want to say that they are not only they don't only understand very well. They have a lot of wisdom, and they are matured. I don't like people who are not matured in their way of thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they are
Yeah. Yeah.
highly matured and they reason out faster when you're presenting an idea and they quickly see how they could be of help to the idea. And I really appreciate that. And I think I really love what is happening at times in the West, in America,
Yes.
in Europe, in the West. I like people don't really bother so much about that. But
Age.
again, but
I
yeah,
agree.
people don't really bother so much about that, and that's okay. They make very successful home. But to some people, to me, probably I have a particular age range that I can go within, maybe between 1 year to 4 years or something or five. But I
Yeah.
cannot go above. That's personally for me. I
Yes.
don't know what other people think. So let's talk a little bit about courtship and dating. You know,
Yes.
I believe that personally, I had to go through courtship. I dated my wife, and we went through courtship before we closed up with the counseling, the church counseling.
Yes.
It was so fun to discover her and her family during the dating and the courtship. Why is it
Yes.
that it's so important? Why is courtship and dating important in marriage?
It's absolutely very, very important because, like I told you from the beginning,
Yeah.
it helps the man and
Mm,
the woman, the intended a couple,
mm,
to be able to know who they are, to plan for their lives,
yeah.
so that they don't become victims of once they get into marriage, they don't know what they are doing. They
Mm,
start fighting a lot of things. Many agreements, there is what we call agreement in marriage. Anytime we are doing premarital counseling, we must agree. And
yeah.
I can share with you one of the things that we agree is who is going to be the head of the family.
Mm,
Don't assume that the man is the head. Don't assume, because people assume a lot. And that's
mm,
one thing that happens in courtship. We just
okay.
assume. Okay, I just at the head. But the
Okay.
lady is looking at you and wondering, is this the family? You have to know there should be no assumption.
Okay.
And then we agree there are close to 100 things that we offer that you can discuss in your courtship, so that
Mm,
you have a good stuff. I've told you just to a relationship. You discuss about your in-laws. How do you handle your in-laws?
mm,
Because in-laws are very pertinent in relationship. How? What kind of a marriage are we going to be having? Are we going to
mm,
be having an exclusive marriage or an inclusive marriage? What is
mm,
exclusive? Exclusive is the kind of marriage that we see mostly in the white, in the developed nations, where the marriage rather excludes other people. It excludes family members. The father, son, father, mother, and children. Or is it going to be inclusive? You know, you inclusive means including other members of the extended families. You can't be in Africa and then you are having an exclusive marriage. It cannot work. You have to know that at a certain point in time, people are going to walk into your home. Okay. Now, but you ask yourself, under what conditions should they come in? These things are the things that are really killing couples today. Let me tell you one thing that you agree. There's so many things to agree. One is just number of children. Yes, I had a case here in my office, and a couple came in, and the couple to be, and the wife was saying that she wants 3 kids. Yet the man was insisting on 7.
Oh my God.
So now we have to take time to be able to reflect on it, and they will discuss, and then they will agree. So we don't have pressure by the time we get married. We don't have issues. That. Yes. And then another thing that I told you that we started and I mentioned, just issues concerning sexuality. Sex is the act. Sexuality is everything around sex. There are people who have been exposed to sex when they were teenagers. There are, and then by the time they get married, they notice that just on the wedding night, they notice that problem has started. Nothing is going. They didn't discuss anything. You will see one of the parties saying that I like it to be done this way, but my husband is just. Courtship is not a moment of closed mouth. It's a moment of the open discussion. You discuss anything. And then now you get men, right? Like women. There are some women who have been abused when they were growing, like the age of 5, 6, 7. They were abused, and anytime they see a man as an abuser. Marriage helps them, courtship helps them to get into that, and then we talk about that. In the course of discussing, they will talk. If right questions are asked, sometimes the counselor becomes a facilitator of the questions. The counselor actually gives the question for them to go and the topics of discussion. Then they go and discuss, and then they come. There are things you have to talk about. I used to encourage us to talk about their past. When a couple doesn't share his past or her past, when doesn't, you want to get married, but you have the past that is haunting you. You don't discuss it. It comes into the marriage and begins to haunt people. I want to use this program, Mr. Oliver, to let young people know that if you are getting married and you have had sex before, don't tell your husband to be that you are a virgin. Don't tell your husband. It's good to be not a virgin. To marry, no, it's good to marry as a virgin, but no one. There are things that have happened in our lives, and we cannot undo them.
Yeah.
Therefore, love the state where you are, and openly and be frank with the man who is getting married to you that I have never known a man. And if you've never known a man, fine. But if you have issues that you have things that have penetrated into your system, you've used your fingers in your vagina, and let the man know, because many men are frustrated when they know that the wife is a virgin and the wife is not a virgin. All these discussions, we have them during courtship.
I love that.
You have never had intercourse, but you are not a virgin.
I got you. So we are rounding up with the first part of this conversation. What's the difference between courtship and dating? Just for some people, especially those who might not have had that thin line really defined to them. What is the difference between the two of them before we take a short break?
I'm going to approach it the way I approach it, and it's not limited. Everybody has right to approach the concept the way they approach.
Okay.
So, because some speakers may be listening and they to them there's no difference, but to me there is a slight difference. Okay. When you hear courtship normally should come a little after what you call dating. Okay. Let me put it this way again. That word dating is a word that many times there are some people who don't want to use that word, and I accept and I agree. Me, I don't use that word in my write-ups. I rather use the word relating rather than using it dating. Like I said, there are etymologies. There are, when you get a concept, you look at the foundation of that concept and you choose what you can use. So don't fight anybody who is using dating and fight anybody who is using relating. I prefer to use the word relate, okay, in the place of courtship, in the place of dating. And then from there, once you agree that you are going to marry, we step into courtship. Are we together?
Yep.
The processes, the stages of getting married are very clear. The first thing begins with relationship with God. Second, with relationship with man. So we have vertical relationship with God. We have horizontal relationship. You're relating with man. It must be okay. And then you have desire. And from desire, you enter into relationship. That's what we call courtship. That's what you call That's what you call dating. Then when you identify the person, and then you propose to the person that I would love to spend the rest of my life with you. The moment the lady agrees, you step into courtship. And that is when you will meet a counselor. That's when your pastor has to be aware that this is what is going on, so that your pastor or the marriage counselor will that guide you into your wedding. And wedding has three phases. We have the traditional marriage, we have the civil wedding, and we have the church wedding for children of God. Yes.
I love that. Thank you for that explicit explanation. Reverend, we're going to have a short break, and we're going to be right back after 53 seconds to continue with this very insightful, impactful conversation. Okay, enjoy it. We're going to be right back. You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's a moment for you to shine. We will work with you one-on-one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and release it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, and I'm Oliver Shom, your host. We are in a very special episode 38, and we're talking about faithful minds, how to build and sustain a relationship. This is very important for speakers, for entrepreneurs, and for people who want to build a legacy, a lasting impact. Because family is first, and family is the foundation. So if you mess up with the family, you mess up with the whole thing, and it will be difficult for you to build that legacy you want to build. So we're having a special guest, as we've already been saying, and this is not any other person but the one and only Amos Mbenben, which is an expert in relationships and marriage, and he has been doing this not only for a decade but for decades. And Reverend Amos, we've taken a lot of time to digest the pre part of it, like how to engage, how to start it. Now let's look a little bit at let's look at the real context in marriage, okay, right? In marriage. Now, let's start from because marriage is a very complicated ministry to an extent when care is not being taken. Let's start from Yeah, we have a lot of people who be watching this into kind of maybe distant relationship, marriages, and that's actually the topic of our conversation.
Yes.
Faithful miles, like faithful kilometers, faithful 2 miles, 3 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles. So faithful
Yes.
miles. So what do you have to say? What can be your three top advice for couples who are not living together because of work and they're looking forward for reunion, how
Okay.
they can be able to maintain their relationship while miles away from each other, and how to sustain that relationship.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That question is very, very important. I
Mhm.
happen to have been working with a lot of couples who are not together
Okay.
physically, who are not together physically.
Mhm.
And it's such a difficult thing to maintain faithfulness, to maintain communication with the love of your life, and physically you guys are not there. I want you to note something, that the mind of God is that the two shall become one,
Mhm.
and they will move together, and they will work together. But we live in a nation or in the world where there are challenges and
Mhm.
people struggle. And then sometimes people are, get jobs across the ocean, and then their wives and their husbands, or their wives travel for the job, and then their husbands are behind. The
Mhm.
question is, what do we do in such cases? We thank God for technology. Before, before you could be in Cameroon and your spouse in America, and the only
Mhm.
thing you put that you manage to talk on phones. And in talking on phones, you have to go to another person's house so they can call at a particular time. But right now, we are not talking just about phones. We have all kinds of video programs. We have all kinds of, in fact, the only thing that separates those who are married and are away from each other is only flesh. I mean, they can see themselves, they
Yeah.
can be with each other, they can talk anything they can talk. The only thing is that they cannot have, intimacy in terms of
Mhm.
penetrative or
Mhm.
penetration, but
Mhm.
they are together. Everything can be gotten.
Mhm.
So my advice for couples who are living in distant relationship is, number one, to stay faithful.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
to stay faithful, to believe in each other. And number two, I would advise them to communicate. Oh, Mr. Oliver, communicate.
I love that. I love that. That's a powerful one. Yeah.
Just communicate like I'm calling my wife, I'm calling my husband.
Mhm.
Once in a week, amongst all the calls that you've made, there should be a moment where you look at your door and say, I want to have time with my husband. Just like if your husband was around, you will have time with him.
Mhm.
That's exactly what you do. You don't want disturbance. Children, please don't disturb me. I want to talk. And sometimes you actually talk naughty.
Oh.
Talk naughty. You
Mm.
know what? Naughty talk.
Mm.
Just like if you were beside your wife, you would talk
Mhm.
naughtily. That's the way you do to avoid tension, to avoid pressure. Then the third thing you will do is to actually become too busy. Yes,
Mhm.
become very busy. The Bible says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yep.
Be busy with purpose.
Mhm.
Engage in something and find yourself doing it with passion. For people who are in churches, pick up a program, engage yourself, become part of the choir. Some choir, they come for practice on Tuesday, they come for practice on Wednesday, no, on Saturday, and then they come for practice on Sunday. By the time you are exhausted, you will not think negative. Be involved in a business. Somebody told me that, you know, because of the business I am involved in, to be frank with you, I no longer feel anything.
Mm.
don't feel anything for anybody. That is how it's supposed to be. So when you have time, you can say, okay, I'm going to spend time with my husband. Then you can talk closely, talk together, discuss. And that is what is happening. So I want to encourage those who are staying in distance, whose relationship are distant across the borders. Don't bother. It will soon be okay. The reason why that relationship is like that is because it's not a normal relationship. Something happened, something is strange. Normally, it's supposed to be husband and wife together. But because of this, we have to understand that we may find ourselves in doing some certain things that we were not supposed to do because our partners are not here. So be faithful. Don't engage in communicating with another person. Like if you have your part, don't invade, because it's so easy falling in love in marriage. It's one day, sir, we'll just talk about adultery.
Yes.
It's so simple falling in adultery, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. So you must have to start confessing. Begin to confess that I will not fall into adultery. Don't say, someone, you will fall. You will fall. So the confession actually leads you, because we have to confess before it comes to pass. Yes. So it's very important for us to look at that. And these 3 points are very, very important.
Yeah,
Oliver.
They're very important. They're very, very important. I totally agree with you. You know, you talked about some things that, I went to church. In my life, I've never sing in choir. Right in secondary school, like I've never been in a choir. So I went to church the other day. They needed new people to join the choir. So I wrote my name. I volunteered to sing in choir. So
man, be busy.
I went. They were training me to sing, so they gave me the mics. I put the wire on my ear, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, sing. I had a song. Like the truth is that I think what I sang was crazy, bro. It was crazy.
Okay. No, keep on. Practice makes perfect.
Amazing. So I can never forget that experience of singing in choir for the first time. So, and that's so powerful. I had some friends. I had some very good friends. We have been having conversations, and we're sharing about the story of Samson and Joseph. So there are men that will say that, oh, I am strong, I can resist, and they behave like Samson. And before you notice, you're being carried away. But so we're discussing in our group that it's preferable to build boundaries like Joseph did.
Very important.
Not like Samson did.
Very important.
Do you have something to say in regards to that, sir?
No, it's absolutely very, very important to build boundaries. You see, falling into adultery is something that cannot be hindered by prayer. You don't say, I will pray so that I will not fall into fornication or adultery. No. The Bible even says, flee. Flee means keep boundaries. You have to, as a married person, keep boundaries. As a pastor, keep boundaries. I can assure you that a lot of pastors, anyway, when I talk about pastors, I'm a little, because pastor is a dignified name. Let me use the word emojis.
Yeah.
Let me use the word man of God. Most men of God, they don't understand that because you prophesy or you preach and there was fire, you think that fire can scare a girl. It's not possible.
Okay.
You think that your fire or your anointing can scare let me put it away, a married woman. What you do is that you put boundaries. I'm not going to surround myself with girls if I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to entertain a woman
Mm-hmm.
in my office without my wife. Okay, I am a marriage counselor. To be frank with you, I cannot counsel a woman when my door is locked.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible because that is where people miss everything.
Mm-hmm.
There are principles governing your life. Do you know that even house helps, there are potential threats to husband and wife or to a husband?
Mm-hmm.
So do not say, I am strong enough, I cannot fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it begins. That's Samson. That's Samson.
Mm-hmm.
Samson was so confident about his life. But when you look at
Joseph.
Joseph,
Joseph. Mm-hmm.
Joseph knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Joseph know that by sleeping with Potiphar's wife,
Mm-hmm.
he was sinning against God, not against Potiphar.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand that when you engage in adultery or sexual immorality out of the marriage context,
Mm-hmm.
you are not sinning against your spouse. You
Mm-hmm.
are actually sinning against God Himself.
Mm-hmm. That is
That's
right. Mm-hmm.
so from there now, you will now understand a couple of things. If I can do this to God,
Mm-hmm.
then how is it going to look like? Then you now say, no, it is not going to work. That's the point. I
Mm-hmm.
have answered a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they actually are in a soup that they didn't want to enter.
You
The
see?
young, yes,
So, Reverend, I have two questions to ask to you again, and we'll call this first part of this conversation off.
yes, yes,
Um, what are some triggers that,
yes,
from your experience, women have and
yes.
men have, and how do you advise them, or what recommendations do you give them on how to close the loops when it comes
Okay,
to distant relationships?
okay. Like I said, the triggers are very simple.
Mhm.
Try as much as possible to communicate. Try as much as possible. Communicate well with your spouse.
Mhm.
Number two, whenever there is a problem, solve it.
Mhm.
Okay? Whenever there is a problem, solve it. Because when a problem comes and you guys don't solve it, a day passes, you haven't spoken. 2 days pass, you haven't spoken. It
Mhm.
becomes a challenge. And then three, avoid entertaining another friendship
Mhm.
with an opposite sex. It will land you in that kind of a situation where you find yourself. So if you see it coming, you better talk about it with your spouse.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what the transparency, the
Mhm.
openness, the fact that you guys discuss. Tell yourself, where am I going to? If you get to work today, you tell your wife that I'm already heading to work, I'm heading to church. But now, if you cannot, and sometimes people do certain things that maybe you call your wife,
Mhm.
and then there's a noise in the background, and then the
Mhm.
wife is curious to see.
Mhm.
So at times, video calls are more important than audio calls in a distant relationship.
Cool.
And if there's no way to talk about video calls,
Mhm.
it should be said, I'm at the job site. I don't take calls. But once it is out, you are out, you
Mhm.
can call and then you go talk.
I
So be
love that.
careful. Yes.
I love that. Last
Mhm.
question before we get your parting word, Reverend Amos. You know, there are men. I'm not talking from statistics. There are
Yes.
men. There are some men that they are really comfortable living in fornication, in adultery, And for
Yes,
them,
yes,
it's like, this is cool, bro. Now, there's some men that they can accidentally get into that kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
so
yes, yes,
what is your, because we can have men listening to us right now and they have probably found themselves in such situations. You know,
yes.
both those who they are living it as a lifestyle and those who are living it as a new lifestyle. Do you have some words to encourage those men listening to us right now on the dangers of living
Yes.
that kind of lifestyle and what it can cost to you as a family?
Actually, it's a very serious issue because
Yeah,
there are
absolutely.
men who also believe that a man cannot just marry one woman and that one woman will be toasting him all around. They actually believe that what they saw from their parents, that is possible to have your wife and also have what we call the phenomenon of a side chick today.
Hmm.
And the side chick does not complain. The side chick does not fight the wife. And the side chick is only there to help the man spend his money or give him satisfaction.
Mhm.
Now, like I said, it all depends on the man and where the man is coming from. If you want to build your home, the energy you will have to tailor and use with a side chick, you can use that
Yeah.
energy with your wife. And let me tell you something, Mr. Oliver. A lot of money is spent on side chickisms. Let me use that word, side
Hmm.
chickisms. A lot of money is
Hmm.
spent on another relationship.
Hmm.
That money you spend to fix that other person,
Hmm.
to give to the person to become, he eats well, he dresses well. You can choose to spend that same money with your
Hmm.
spouse. So at the end of the
Hmm.
day, when we build a relationship, it is better. And I want to remind us, the couples, that once your sexual life gets dead, you begin to see things
Hmm.
like this one. People start
Hmm.
falling in love with other people. In fact, there are so many consequences of all these things. I think it's the consequence of adultery is a whole session on its own. Yes,
Hmm.
it's a whole
Yeah,
session.
yeah, that's, yeah,
The,
that's right.
the hearts are wounded. Have you
Hmm.
ever noticed that there are some men that, as they grow by 65 years, their wife will leave them and be traveling from one country to another? Have
Yeah.
you ever wondered why?
No.
And then everybody's complaining about the lady, but they didn't know that when this man was 40, 45, 50, he
Hmm.
was sleeping with every skirt that comes in. And then the wife
Hmm.
decides to just sponsor the children, and now the children are doing fine, and
Hmm.
is payback. The wife cannot spend those years with
Hmm.
him because he didn't spend those years with her when they were strong. So the wife prefers to move from Cameroon to
Hmm.
America,
Hmm.
to France, to South Africa, to just visit the children, and the children needs. And I've also met a couple where the lady said, "I cannot leave your father.
Hmm.
Please, your father is Lord. I cannot leave. It's not now that I will leave your father because your father has stayed faithful to me for years, and I cannot leave your father now. I have to be beside your father. I have to
Hmm.
cook for him." That
Hmm.
is the joy of faithfulness in marriage. But
Hmm.
when the reverse comes, you will see they will never live well in their old age. Thank you very much, Mr.
Hmm.
Oliver.
Wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, man.
Yes,
I really appreciate, like, it is well handled. For those who understood the value of this conversation, they will definitely get it. And of course, at the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, we will hope to have you again some time to come so we can
thank
have more conversations with it. Even not even in the Global Speakers Advantage
you.
podcast, or we have other platforms that we can be able to have you there as a guest speaker, as a trainer, uh, like Faithful
Mhm.
Minds Ministry. Yeah, that would be so wonderful. And again, if somebody is preparing for a wedding, married, want to get into a relationship, and they need to get you as a counselor, as an advisor, as a coach, how can people get to you? Do you have a website? Do you have an email? Do you have a telephone number that people can use to get to you, please? Or any social media platforms?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Dominion Singers and Marriage Academy is there. So once you
Okay.
get there, you will see all the contacts and you will get us. We are on
Awesome.
Facebook. Yeah, we have a Facebook group and Facebook. We have a page. Once you type Dominion Singles and Marriage Academy, there you are. We are there. All the contacts are there.
Awesome. Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, sir. It was such an honor and a privilege to be sitting with you for over 1 hour, 15 minutes in this very impactful conversation. May the Lord bless and continue to use you. And so,
thank you very much.
To our listeners, this is the Global Speakers Advantage podcast, where every episode is a masterclass. And of course, you are never far away from your stages if your story is real. So the question we have for you is your story real? Because if your story is real, you are never far away from your stages. And so we see what you're doing and we believe in you. And together we can make the world a better place. Until we meet again next time, stay blessed and remain positive in whatever you're doing and wherever you are in any part of the world. And remember never to lose hope. My name is Oliver Shom and I was your host. And today we had an amazing guest right from Cameroon, Amos Mbenben, who is the founder of Dominion Singles and Married Academic. And of course, he has touched hundreds of lives from Cameroon, from Africa, from all around the world when it comes to relationship building, sustaining, and then engaging them. And that was how we got it for today. Enjoy these ads, and then we're going to close up the conversation at this time. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Global Speaker Advantage, the #1 podcast where your voice goes beyond.
You have lived through powerful moments. You have overcome and you have grown. Now it's time to tell your story and get booked for it. At Talks, we are launching a powerful platform called Tell Us Your Story. And it's a moment for you to shine. We will work with you one-on-one and coach you to be able to share your story with the world. And we will take your story, edit it, and release it in our platform, Talks. Let the world hear what you've been through and why it matters now more than ever. Spots are limited. If you're ready to turn your story into your stage, now is the time.